What's happening, people? What's happening? It is a Friday. Yeah, I know. I said I wasn't going to be here, but the games got rained out. I was supposed to be in Delano. The kids had his traveling team. Kids had a game there. Hey, what's happening, Spike? How we doing, bro? How we doing? The kids had a baseball game. Well, so I think they're going to play 3 games. So it's supposed to be 1 game tonight and 2 games tomorrow and maybe a game on Saturday. So I don't know how they're gonna do this tournament because the first game tonight was supposed to be at 8:00. That got rained out. So here I am. I'm here to hang out with you tonight for just a little bit. But I want to play something for you right off the bat here so we can get this over with. Because usually when I key things up, they usually go off my phone. But a large part of tonight is going to be around the George. Shoot, see, I told you I had it. Told you. A large part of the night is going to be around George Floyd and Derek Chauvin. So we're gonna dive into that because somebody put out this tweet that Derek was supposed to get paroled, and everybody went crazy nuts there for a second. But my issue is always with when these white folks go out here and get these so-called black people, and then these so-called black people think they can stand up and say stuff in the community, and these very, very black people ain't never been to the community, don't do nothing in the community, but yet they can speak on the community. Well, it's not happening here in Minnesota, and I told y'all that. And anytime one of them get out of place, I'm going to put them in their place. Period, point blank. Now, they can do this anywhere else, but it's not going to happen here in Minnesota at all. So, Liz Collins... Hold on. Let me put this back to where I had it, because I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mess it up somewhere, because I still don't even know all it. I got to get Chaz over here is what I got to do. I got to get Chaz over here so he can show me how this dang on board works. That's what I should do. I should pay him to get his butt down here and get this thing taken care of for me, so I don't have to worry about it. But before I say anything. Hold on, let me put this on pause. Let me see how long this thing will pause. So before I say anything, let me put my disclaimer out like I always do. What's happening, Chaz? So we're going to be talking about Liz Collins, and we're going to be talking about Alpha News. So, and I don't want people to sit there and go, Rev hammering things that he don't, talking about people and blah, blah. Let me make sure y'all understand who I am. You will never see me talking about something I don't know, ever. That's not me. You never see me talking about people that I've never dealt with. That's not me. Don't do that. So, with that said, I have been on Alpha News. Alpha News has had me on their program, had me on their show. Yeah. See, the reason why you don't see me on Alpha News anymore, because I'm not Alpha News type Negro. Period, point blank. See, Alpha News want the ones that come over there and buck dance and agree with the crap that they put out. So I've been on Alpha News. But I'm just not the type black person Alpha News wants on their show. So I'm not down in Alpha News. When Liz Collins' husband is Bob Kroll, when the black community said Bob Kroll was a Klan member, who did the interview with Bob Kroll? I've got the pictures to show you. I've got Bob Kroll's hand in my hand. We shaking hands. We had a good time talk. We sat out, and I took heat from the black community for talking to that man. Liz Collins' husband. So I ain't got nothing against Liz Collins. When the black folks went up to Liz Collins' house, protested in front of her house, had a doll made of her, hung it in her yard. Who did they call to come up to Hugo to pray over the city? Right here. So I ain't got nothing against Liz Collins. I don't want nobody sitting there going, oh, he don't like Liz Collins. I ain't never met that woman. But I prayed over her house. I prayed on her when she was gone and the black people went up there acting a fool. I put anything out to Liz Collins, asking Liz Collins if her and I could have a conversation about a situation. I ain't never heard from. So I don't want nobody sitting here going, oh, Rev Liz this and Rev this. No. Everybody I'm going to talk about tonight, I have met, shaken their hands, and had some type of relationship with them. So it ain't, no, I don't do that. That's not how I work. A.K. Kamara. I was on his show. So don't get it crooked when it comes to me. Like I said, I bring receipts. That's the difference between me. I got receipts. I don't just get on a camera and just run off at the mouth about crap that I don't even know. That's not how it works. See, they're like I said, here in Minnesota, these people that got these shows, I'm going to show you exactly what I've been telling y'all. I've been talking about this for I don't know how long. Go all the way to John Justice. John Justice called me irrelevant because I told him if he's going to be talking about the black community, then get a black person on his show talking about the community. Because they got two black people that they go to, and the two black people they go to ain't never in the community. So how you going to stand on 494 and look into a community and talk? That's just like me. No, I can't say that because I do go out to the white community. I've been in St. Michael's talking. I've been in Glencoe, Minnesota. I've been all the way down to Melba, Minnesota talking to people. And I'm about to go up to Bemidji. So that's not me standing there just looking into a community. No, I go into those communities. That's why I can say whatever I want. See, but there's some people that ain't got no business talking on nothing because they don't know nothing about what they talk about. So you ain't going to get Liz Collins with me sitting in a chair and Liz asking me questions. So because then I got to look at Liz and say, what about police brutality? You ain't never going to hear that from some of these Negroes that Alpha News put on their show because that's not what they want to hear. They won't want to hear about the DOJ report that was done. You ain't hearing about that. You're not hearing about the Jump Out Boys. You're not hearing about that. You're not hearing about the Christmas tree that the 4th Precinct put up with all the black stuff. You're not hearing about stuff like that. But you will hear this crap right here. So I'm going to play this for you. Hold on one second.
He needed to go away.
How early on were you aware that something, more, perhaps was going on here?
I mean, I was already skeptical just from the beginning because Black Lives Matter had already established themselves that they don't care about facts. They're just always trying to push their own political narrative and agenda, which is rooted in Marxism, race consciousness. And so I already, when they picked it up, I was like, there's something that just doesn't seem right. But I will say that because of the cell phone camera footage, I was swept up of like, this doesn't look good. But in the pit of my stomach, I just knew that there had to be more. So I always just employed this rule. Let's just wait for some evidence to come out before we start pulling out the pitchforks.
Did we ever see that evidence?
Not until the trial. And then even then, as we come to find out, we didn't even see a majority of the good evidence that would have been exculpatory, at least in my opinion, of being able to prove that Officer Derek Chauvin, or former Officer Derek Chauvin, was not guilty at all of the charges that he was found guilty.
What do you think of Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, I think they're an awful organization. I think that they truly fundamentally want to change this nation. Like that was their goal, right? To really incite a Marxist revolution. That's what they wanted to have happen. And they were able to gain so much traction because of incidents such as George Floyd and incidents going back even further, Michael Brown, and even Trayvon Martin. There was kind of those initial echoes and waves, but they will take any situation that can inflame racial tensions and they will blow it up to the highest degree.
See, that's the type Negro that Alpha News wants on this show, because he gives that type of stuff. This dude ain't never come to the community to help out. He ain't never done nothing. He don't come around. We don't see him. But yet he can go on there and say that type of stuff. Why didn't Liz ask him about what happened before George Floyd? See, what y'all are not understanding. Y'all act like George Floyd happened in one day. I've got this new person that I'm following on X here, and her get up today, and I asked her to come on, and I asked her to come on here with me, right? And I said, because she had been posting a lot about George Floyd, and so I asked her to come on, and I said, you should come on and you should have this conversation with me, because what they never talk about, what no one ever talks about, is the before all of that happened, before George Floyd, before anything went down. It said, facts, I don't like AK fake ass. He's the reason why I stopped listening. I'm going to get to that, Chaz. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people don't understand, who don't come to the community, who's never been around, who don't seek any real information or want to hear anything else, is George Floyd didn't just happen that day. That day that everything went down. Listen, people. In order for certain things to happen, there's other things that leads up to that, correct? No. I'm not trying to look. Here's one thing I don't do. I'm not trying to change nobody's mind, but I want you to understand things, right? When you're out there, you posted about George Floyd and you this, and half of you don't know a crap. You don't even know half of what was going on. They was talking about dismantling the police department before George Floyd. Why? Listen to me. You got a computer. I want you to write this down right now. No, write it down. Get a piece of paper. No, because I'm going to give you facts that you can look up yourself. I'm going to give you things that you can look up yourself. Do your own research, but you listen to these fake news websites that only going to give you one side. Liz Collins' husband, again, is Bob Kroll. Bob Kroll was the head of the police union. When Derek Chauvin got in trouble all those times, look this up. When Derek Chauvin got in trouble all those times, why didn't Bob let him go? Why did they keep bringing him back? Look, I want you to look up Derek Chauvin's past. And they just paid out almost $600,000 to people that Derek Chauvin did wrong. Look it up. Look it up. But Liz Collins, you didn't hear her asking about that. You didn't hear her ask A.K. Mara one time, what do you think about Derek Chauvin? What do you think about did you read the things of his past? I want you to look it up yourself. So A.K. Kamara decides to say, I don't like Black Lives Matter. I want you to look something else up. There was a white woman that got shot by a Somali police officer. That Somali police officer went to jail. But before that Somali police officer, and I was looking for the footage that I recorded because I was in the protest with him. I protested with Black Lives Matter. Why? Because that white woman family went to Black Lives Matter and asked them to protest on their behalf. See, AK couldn't tell you that because he ain't in the community to know that. So when you start dogging Black Lives Matter, also tell what they did. Now, the National Black Lives Matter, they sent a few people in. They did. But I don't count them. I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter that's right here in this here state. The people who work tirelessly day after day after day after day. Chaz is part of Black Lives Matter these streets. He's out there doing this and doing that and making sure things happen. He's standing out there on on Penn and 38th, one of the most dangerous areas in the state of Minnesota. From 32nd all the way up to 38th, some of the most dangerous area. He's out there. Where's AK Kamara? wouldn't come over there to save his own life. But Black Lives Matter protested on the behalf of this white woman who got shot because her family wanted to make sure that this cop went to jail. Black Lives Matter did that. Ask AK Kamara if he knows about that. Why don't when Liz asked about Black Lives Matter to that so-called black man, why didn't she ask him that? Well, did you hear about when Black Lives Matter marched for the white lady to make sure she got $20 million? He couldn't tell you that. You know why? Because he don't know. That's why I say, when him and Walter getting on these shows and they start talking about the black community, I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down. You want to talk about the black community? You want to talk about black people? Right here. Talk to somebody who preach in that right in the heart of everything that goes on. Talk to somebody who goes out and try to get the kids off the street in the heart of everything goes on. Talk to somebody who feed people in the heart of what everything goes on. How you going to talk to somebody who stand on 494 and look over into the community and then come back and try to tell you something? Because this is what I keep telling y'all. This is what they do. They don't want to hear real talk. No, they don't want for real. Liz Collins know who I am. She knows where I am. She can get in touch with me 24/7. I have been on Alpha News. But that's not what Liz wants. Liz wants to push her narrative. Liz don't want the truth. Liz don't want you to know how bad the Minneapolis Police Department was. If y'all sit here and say to yourself, well, they left because of no, they did not leave. The police did not leave because of George Floyd. They left because they had to change. They had to do different. They had to be different. And because they couldn't do it, they left. They knew things was changing over there. They knew it. Now, some of them did leave because they said, you know what? I'm not going to get myself in trouble. But a lot of them left because they couldn't change in the way they was doing anything. They were so corrupt. That's why they left. Liz Collins is not going to tell you that part. You ain't hearing that from Alpha News, and you won't hear it from AK Kamara, because AK Kamara have never been standing on the corner in a suit trying to talk to young boys, and you got cops driving by slow, just waiting for somebody to say something, waiting for somebody to do something so they can jump out and harass people. I have made complaint after complaint on that. AK Kamara ain't never did that. So I don't care if AK get on talking about what he don't like. I don't like black people who ain't got nothing to do with us getting on a white program talking crap about us. That's what I don't like. So if he don't like this, I don't like that. So shut your mouth like I told you a long time ago. Shut it. Because every single time you do this, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I told you, if you ain't going to put the time in, shut your mouth. If you ain't going to do, shut your mouth. If you're not going to be a part of, shut your mouth. Because I'll call you out, dude. I have zero problem in doing that. I ain't never seen you one time hug a mother that son has been shot in the middle of the street. I ain't never seen you around when they trying to round up people. And the police is all over everywhere, jumping out, knocking people in the head. You ain't been out there. You wasn't with us when we was getting the bus stop moved so nobody would get shot. You wasn't with us when we was fending off gang members, trying to get the liquor store shut out. You ain't been with us when we been up there on Lindell and Lowry dealing with people. You ain't been to my church when they done had gunfights right in my parking lot and we done had to lock the door. So don't try me, bro. Where was you at when we was feeding the homeless? Where was you at when we was feeding people during COVID? Where was you at when we was raising money so we can get the elderly people, driving them from the towers, from the elderly towers all the way over to Robbinsdale so they can get their food? Where was you at then? Where was you at when we was raising money to house women who was being abused by their husband until their family? Where was you at then? Man, if you ain't done nothing, shut it. I'm real on this here. This is something I'm passionate about. I'm tired of people thinking they can crash on the community and you don't do nothing. Now, if Liz Collins got something else to say, or she needs to know something else, RevChristopher is where she needs to come. If not, Liz, keep the community out your mouth. Seriously, point blank. Have your husband hit me up. I have no problem talking to Bob. I did it before. I got in trouble with the black community for dealing with him. I got in trouble with the black community for coming and praying on your community, praying for you and praying for your place. But you can't respect me enough to give me a call? When I stuck my neck out for you, I stuck my neck out for you. But you ain't got enough respect for me to call me. Because I know. I like I said, I started this out saying, I realize I ain't your type of Negro. You the ones you get on your show is the one that you're happy with. And it's as many times as you put them on your show and we go through this here, this is what we're doing now. But what people don't understand, everybody who wasn't there, everybody who didn't see this here whole thing coming. 2019, I was up there in St. Paul at the Capitol, and I told them something was about to come down. What I'm telling you is George Floyd did not have to die. I'm going to say it point blank like that. And I know people say, well, if he wasn't on drugs, if he hadn't done this, if he hadn't done that, he did not have to die. If let's say, Mayor Fry had kept his promise that knee that was in George Floyd, whether it's his back, his arm, his shoulder, his buttocks, his leg, or wherever the knee was, if Mayor Fry had done his job in what he said he was going to run on and outlawed that maneuver, then we wouldn't have had what we had. But Mayor Fry is a liar and he lied. So the police was able to do that. Let's say if before George Floyd, now I'm talking before George Floyd, let's say if they would have reined in the police before George Floyd, After Philando Castile was murdered, and they let that cop off. That's what happened, and y'all know it. He was murdered. And what a lot of people don't understand is Philando Castile was the guy. He was the George Floyd. He would have been the George Floyd. But the gatekeepers were quick enough to get out and get in front of that. Philando Castile was the George Floyd. That's who should have been George Floyd. That young man was murdered. Y'all know it. No ifs, no ands, no buts. He was murdered in cold blood right in front of each and every one of us. And y'all found a way to say that that cop was innocent. I'm not even going to talk about the ones before Philando Castile. But that lit the fuse. It just happened to be a long fuse. But that is what lit the fuse. And that's the part y'all don't get. Y'all not pulling in all the stuff that was going on after they murdered Philando Castile. Only thing they needed was a wind to blow. That's where this whole thing started. You won't hear that from Liz Collins. You won't hear that from Alpha News. You won't hear that from A.K. Kamara. But that cop murdered him. I'll sit here and say that all day long. That's where it started. Didn't start with George Floyd. It didn't start with the $20 bill. It didn't start with the fentanyl. It didn't start with that area becoming as bad as it was. So by the time that cop got down there, and George said, I can't breathe, and they pulled him out of the car and put him on the ground, it was already on. It was already on. But could that situation could have been quelled or stopped or pulled? Yeah, it could have. If that cop that murdered Philando Castile had went to jail, we wouldn't have had George Floyd. If they would have reined in the Minneapolis Police Department, we wouldn't have had George Floyd. If they would have got serious about the drug sales in that area, that they freely let them sell drugs, we wouldn't have had a George Floyd. If they would have pulled down on the thugs that had that community in shambles, we wouldn't have had a George Floyd. There was a lot of things that added up to George Floyd way before Derek got on this man. Way before he put the drugs in his mouth. Way before he tried to pass the $20 bill. Way before he even walked on site. There was so much that was going on. It was so thick. In 2019, when I sat in front of the Republicans was on this side and the Democrats was on this side, and I asked them to give a damn. That's what I said to them. Those are the very words I said to each and every one of them right there in that Capitol. Somebody need to give a damn, or this is going to go wrong. Nobody gave a damn. The Republicans didn't give a damn, and the Democrats didn't give a damn. Nobody sat back and worried about how we going to bring this community together. A community that was ripe with filth, that was ripe with drugs, that was ripe with gun violence, that was ripe with assaults, that was ripe with murders, that was ripe with everything. You name it, that's what the community did. Nobody cared about cleaning that community up. Nobody. Bobby Champion has the worst community in the state of Minnesota. And he didn't even give a damn. So when you start talking about George Floyd and you start talking about Derek Chauvin, if you don't know the beginning, don't come in the middle of this thing. Don't come in the end of this thing. Because I laugh at you and call you a fool because you didn't see it literally coming together. It was like a tornado coming out of the sky. We sat and watched a tornado come and land, and all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. That's what happened. But you're not going to get that from Alpha News. A.K. Kamara don't know that because he was nowhere around. We don't deal with him. Liz Collins, she ain't going to tell you the truth because she's got to spin her book and her little propaganda film that she put out. So I'm just saying, Alpha News, you right here. Right here. You got questions? I got answers for you. But I know I'm not your type Negro. You need the ones that go, yes, sir. Our house is on fire, boss. We sick. Not playing that, man. Not playing that. It's even when I go outside of the city, helping people outside of the city, talking to the farmers, talking to poor white people, listening to people tell me what needs to be done, how their life is not, this stuff has affected their lives. And we got these knucklehead Democrats up here bending over backwards for undocumented people. And I'm learning online. I'm learning online by talking to people. We got Minnesotans here who ain't had insurance for 15 years. What about them? What about them? But yet somebody undocumented can come over here and have a baby, and that baby's covered, and we got to pay it. And then they want to sit there and try to make me believe, which I know for a fact that isn't true, that they pay taxes. They are all signed up. No, they're not. That's a damn lie, and they know it's a lie. That's why that Congress or chick from the city council didn't answer my question, because she know I know that. Listen, if I write some of these here people, politicians, the reason they don't write me back is because they know I know. They know I know. They know I know more than they do. Like Julia Coleman. Julia will never write me back. Never. Because Julia knows. That man I'm not messing with. Because he knows. Representative Julia Coleman will never write me back on anything that I write to her. Because she knows I know. She knows that. She knows I know that her and her colleagues can get together and make a difference. But they would rather chase behind the Democrats than actually do what's right, and it's going to make a difference. Now they run around there patting their backs because they got the kids. The adults off of the health care, but the kids are still on the health care. Where I've got my 28-year-old son, the backache, but he's afraid to go to the doctor because they're going to hit him with a big bill. Don't you know a undocumented person can come over here with kidney disease and everything that I'm paying out of my, for me to go see, I've got to go, like I told you, I've got to go to the doctor. I've got to see my kidney doctor once a month. It's $850 for me to walk in his door. That's just my kidney doctor. $850 for me just to walk in his door. But an undocumented person can get that for free. For me to hook up to my dialysis machine every night for 9 hours. $4,228. Somebody who's undocumented. I'm just saying. How is that right? When I've got Minnesotans right here, right now, I'm just learning about it. People that I'm talking to sit there and say, I haven't had insurance because I can't afford the $500 to $700 a month deductible for this, Rev. But to hear Democrats knocking down a door for people who are not Minnesotans. Oh, if that's what y'all gonna keep voting for, if that's what you putting in office, then maybe it is time for me to go on and get that place, that land in South Carolina, and just retire and say, you know what? Burn, Minnesota, burn. Because the way we're going right now, Mark, listen to me. I warned them at the Capitol. I've warned y'all. And I'm going to say this here. And I want you to mark the date and I want you to mark the time. There's a guy that's running for mayor in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Even though he scrubbed his website. But he was one, I was in the room and I heard him and I heard what he said and I got good hearing. Now my eyes may be bad a little bit, my knees may be bad a little bit, my kidneys are gone, but I can hear damn well. What I'm telling y'all and what I'm trying to make you understand is this here. He is against the police department. He was part of the ones who actually said defund, dismantle. If he gets in the office in Minneapolis, all hell, listen to me. If y'all can believe what you want to, you can sit there and say, Rev don't know what he's talking about, and I'll see you in about 6-7 years, and then you're gonna sit there and go, sorry, Rev, you pissed me, like always. People get pissed off at me when I say the things I say, but then they sit back for 5 seconds and go, you know what? Okay, I understand. If he gets in the office, knowing how a large number of the people on that city council feel about the police, the only thing that's kind of holding back everything that's going on right now, and it's not really out in the suburbs, is the police, and they're letting them basically sell drugs without any problem. But if you let somebody come in there and they take that police force as far down as they want to take it, don't sit there and go, we didn't know it was going to happen. Because everybody up under the sound of my voice knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's still a stopgap to the crime and everything from flooding out. But things are going to close down. And you're going to see what happened. It's just like Plymouth. I told y'all. That Plymouth Target over there. They're robbing that place blind. They're robbing it blind. I told y'all that when that Kmart, I said it when the Kmart closed down in Brooklyn Park. I said the only other place that I know that they can go. Oh, and the one in Crystal. The one in Crystal basically is almost ready to give up. But I told y'all. Yeah, I did. And I told you 2 years ago to start looking at, if you shop in, I told you, I said, if you shop in Crystal, and I said, if you shop in Plymouth, what I'm going to have you, what I need you to do is buy like laundry detergent. 2 years ago, I said this, and then look at your receipt. And then I want you to do it now and compare the two and see how much the prices went up on that. Not inflation. Y'all paying for the people who are stealing out of those stores and then going and selling it to get money to buy drugs. That's the reason why the Walgreens closed down in Minneapolis. That's the reason why Aldi's closed down in Minneapolis, because they robbed that place blind. So now they have no place to do it, so they got to go out everywhere else. And you're going to feel the pinch from that. You're going to feel the pinch from that. This is why I tell people, yo, well, I live all the way out. I live all the way out here in this here. I live in the suburbs. I don't have anything to worry about. We are protected. And then all of a sudden it comes and knocking on your door and you're going, wait a minute, I thought I was protected. That's why I keep telling you, y'all need to start looking and understanding that what happens in Minneapolis will affect you somewhere down the line. Now, if you was way up in Bemidji, I wouldn't be talking to you. But if you're in the 394, 494, 694, 55, dude, I would be worried about what goes on. Think about it. You don't even go downtown. People are afraid to go downtown now. And that's sad. Downtown used to be a beautiful place. Everybody can go and hang out, right? Look at it now. If they don't have like all of Minneapolis Police Department, all of South Minneapolis Police Department, pretty much all of the state troopers down there, when there's game time, y'all ain't going. Y'all don't go down there. Y'all don't go down there. They just had a big brouhaha down there a couple of nights ago. There's a 14-year-old kid, 3 o'clock in the morning, got shot right there in downtown. But we put up with that. We put up with it because we got to push water for the Republican Party and we got to push water for the Democratic Party. You know what? I just need some people who want to push water for the people of Minnesota, who sit there and says, we all have a right to insurance, and insurance shouldn't put us down in the grave. I should have insurance just like anybody who jumped the fence and then come over here and jump the line. I should have that type of insurance. But we don't. We pay for them to be able to do that. That's what our tax dollars, when they pull money out of your check and they taxing you, that's where your tax dollars is going. And that's another thing. Why the people of Minnesota, I told you this a year ago. Start asking your Congress people, the lawmaker, the very people who knock on your door and say they're going to go up there and work for you, write them an email and go, I want to audit. I want to know where my tax dollars is going. Well, a lot of us in Minnesota knows where it. All this fraud that went down. A group of people came here to Minnesota, and they put them priority number one. That's what they did. And they stole your tax dollars. Millions and millions and millions of tax dollars stolen in suitcases walking out of the state of Minnesota. And ain't nobody mad about it. So what did the Republicans do? They was like, hey, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put together this fraud investigation thing with no subpoena power. Let's make sure we understand that. And we're going to ask a bunch of questions. As if they're going to get the main players, the ones who stole the money, in there going, yeah, we did it. But it looked good, didn't it? No, it did. It looked awesome. It looked unbelievable. But what came of it? No, what when they wrapped it up, what did we get? What did the people of Minnesota get? Don't shoot the messenger. As I told you, you can get mad at me at the beginning, but think about what I'm saying. At least give me that. So, okay, they got a couple people. They put them in jail for, hey, look. Hold on. Put $5 million, put $6 million in my banking account. And then say, Rev, you got to go do 2 years in prison because you stole this money. And then when you get out, we're gonna boot you out the country. Okay, I get out. I got probably that $5 million, and hopefully, in a couple of years, and boost it up to about 8. I take $8 million US and go to a tropical country somewhere. I'm living a life now. I'm Bill Gates. I move in, I'm the new Bill Gates. I can do that. I fly my grandkids out whenever I want to, and when the baseball games are, I'll just have them videotape it or just do it live for me. But I'm living off of $8 million in a tropical paradise, drinking out of coconuts. I'd be like Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Hey, trading places at the end there. I'm looking out at my boat. I know I didn't buy the boat with the $8 million because I'd already bought the boat with the money that I stole from Minnesota. I bought the boat already with that money. But the $8 million that I have in the bank, I had in the bank before I went to jail, that money I'm living off of. And it's not over. If y'all think that these people look. Here's what Minnesota didn't do before they decided to open the door in the 90s. They did not vet the people who came here and understand that their mindset is conquer, take over. Look it up yourself. I'm not telling you something, again, that you could go look it up. Not working with people. It's take over. So I'm going to go back to where I started and say it again. If somebody gets in office and they become the mayor of Minneapolis, which the way it's looking, because, we're in some trouble. We are in some trouble because it's not going to get any better. It's not going to, because the city council is basically going to have their guy, and whatever they say do, he's going to do it, and a lot more. Let's call it what it is, because that's what's going to happen. So if you ain't never, if you say to yourself, I ain't never done anything or worried about what happens in Minneapolis or downtown Minneapolis, I'm warning you now. You guys listen to me. You have to get involved. That's what everybody was saying to me. If you know all of this stuff and you can say this and you've been here and you've done that and you've helped this and all this here type of stuff, well, Rev, why don't you do something? Okay. Brad came to me and said, Rev, why don't you run with me? I went home and I talked to the wife about it, and she says, you think you'll be strong enough and everything will be all right? And I said, if I do what the doctors tell me to do, and I pace myself like I have been, there will be no problem. And once I got her okay, I met with Brad. I said, let's go. I've known you long enough, Brad, that I believe in you. I know you see things almost like I do. Now, Brad considered himself to be a Republican. Okay. And y'all know I don't push for a party. And maybe that's newness is what we need. And see, people don't realize that. We give the Democrats their opportunity to go up there and screw up, and they did. We gave the Republicans a chance to go up there and and they screwed up, and they did. But now it's time to give two people the opportunity to go up there and see what has been screwed up, and we fix those things. And again, the People's Party, not the Republicans, not the Democrats, but the people. I want people of Minnesota saying, this is my problem, Rev. How can we fix it? What can we do to fix it? That's why I say this. I will not be a Peggy Flanagan. What did Peggy actually do? No, what did she do? She ain't done nothing. She proved that a couple nights ago when she put out there that she's got to fix this and fix that. Wait a minute. You've been up there for umpteen many years, and you telling me you didn't fix it while you was there? You got to go to another branch of government to fix stuff? You didn't fix it while you was there? This is what I'm talking about. Now she running for something else, saying she's going to fix this and fix that. You're going to fix what you broke. Is basically what this comes down to be. No, I have zero clue. I'm not a desk. See, that's the thing about it. People expect you to go up there and sit. I'm not a desk person. I'm just not. I'm not a person that can sit at a desk and just sit behind a desk. I got to get up. I got to move. I got to go talk to somebody. I got to go see how you're doing. I got to drive somewhere and get out and walk through a store and shake hands and see how things are going with you in your life. And I got to have Saturday morning breakfast where I can get people at a breakfast spot and they come in and give us the 911. I want people to sit there and go, I want to be able to sit there while you tell me that I'm messing up. See, Tim Walz, what in Iowa? Tim Walz, everywhere else. No, I'm going to Target. Wait a minute, isn't that RevTChristopher, the lieutenant governor? Come here. We need to talk to you. What's going on? You ain't never gonna see Peggy at a diner. You ain't never going to see Peggy at some bar just one night and everybody recognize you and you can sit and talk to them. Find out what's going on, how you doing, how's your family doing. Why can't we have politicians like that? Because the minute they get in the office, you ain't that important no more. I can tell you that straight up. You know how many times I tried to talk to Tim Walz? You know how many times I tried to talk to Peggy? You know how many times I tried to talk to Julia Coleman? Even though Julia looks at it and go, well, you're not in my district and my blah, 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 this and blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. I always thought, you're up there to work for Minnesotans. I got to be in your district in order for you to talk to me. Now, as far as I'm concerned, every district out there is a part of Minnesota. Whether it's blue, red, orange, purple, silver. That's the problem that we have in Minnesota. Oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you're not in my district. I'm not going to give you the time of day because you're not in my district. How do you know something that I have going on in my life ain't got something to do with your district? You don't know that because you don't want to talk to me. That's how these people are. That's how these people work. You're only important to them for your votes and your money. If you didn't vote for them and you ain't giving them money, then they don't care about you. You're not that important anymore. And that's what I want to get people to understand. I work with everybody. I help. I don't care what you look like, who you are. If you need help, I'm going to help you. That's the way I was raised. Period, point blank. That's what my book tells me. Period, point blank. And it's sad that we can't get back to that point where it says that we're all God's children. And then we can see that my color shouldn't matter to you because your color don't matter to me. I don't care. Because like I said, we all eat Fruit Loops or Apple Jacks. We all drink milk. Right? And I'm sure there's somebody in your house that leaves crumbs in the butter dish. I'm sure of that. And I think that should be a situation where if you leave crumbs in the butter dish or in the jelly jar, 2 years state prison. 2 years state prison. I can live without my wife for 2 years, I think. Because she's the main one that put crumbs in the jelly jar. She put crumbs in the butter dish. And if you got one of those at your house, then I want you to stand with me 2 years. I'm just saying. But anyway, fam, hey, I'm going to get off this thing. Like I said, you know what? I was supposed to be at a baseball game. So that means I'm going to be freezing tomorrow. Because if they play 3 games tomorrow, I'm going to be, nope. Sorry. I got 2 games tomorrow. And then I've got to go to my daughter-in-law's. She's in this big play. So I've got to go to the play at 6 o'clock. So I got a long day tomorrow. So I got to find a nap. I got to find a nap in there somewhere. But again, like I said before, and I'll close with this here. Derek Chauvin was the guy. Whether he was on his neck, whether he was on his back, Derek Chauvin was the guy. For the Philando Castiles, for every time. A.K. Kamar mentioned Trayvon Martin, right? Trayvon Martin, that was killed in a state that is stand your ground state. When they told George Zimmerman not to go after that young kid, let's say George Zimmerman would have said, okay, I'll let the cops do the job. But that's not what he did. And the only story we get out of this thing is George Zimmerman's story. We didn't get Trayvon's story. How do we know that once George told the lady cop that they always get away with it, that he didn't run up to this kid and spook him and scare the crap out of him? Think about that. You got a grown man coming up on you in the middle of the night. How are you going to react? What are you going to do? Are you just going to stand there? Sometimes, don't let those feelings get in front of you. AK don't know what he's talking about. Liz Collins is only going to give you her side of the story. And Alpha News is only going to report their side of the story. Derek Chauvin paid the price for everything that happened. He paid the price for the jump out boys. He paid the price for the roughing up people through the Minneapolis Police Department. He paid the price for Jameer Clark, who the cops said was trying to grab their gun and he wasn't, and they shot and killed him. Derek Chauvin paid the price for that. But see, Liz won't tell you that part. Because there was a lot leading up to Derek Chauvin. There was, people. It wasn't just George Floyd. George Floyd just happened to be the win that made that bomb go off. And when it went off, the problem was those in charge did not get out in front of it. They didn't know what to do. They had no clue on what to do because they wasn't out on the streets. And I can tell you, the night that whole situation happened, I believed. I'm just going to tell you what I believe because I was right there. When the police gave up that, when the police gave up the police department, nobody was doing anything. Everybody was just standing there, screaming at a building and screaming at the cops that came out on the roof. So there were some cops that came out, and every time they come out, the crowd would be, wah. They go back in, and everybody settled out. Had they never left that place open the way they did. Now, another thing, let me make sure y'all understand something, too. That's another thing about this. I would think that if they're going to leave, they would, which they could have done. They could have done. They got this thing called a Bearcat. If y'all ain't never seen the Bearcat, this thing it's monstrous. They could have easily drove the Bearcat down the street there, down Lake Street, and all those cops, and they could have had a bus, and all those cops could have got on that bus, because when the bear comes down the street, people move. Psh, 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 psh. Could have done that. Put those cops on the bus, took them, but they should have locked the doors. Think about this for a second. Now, I want you, a lot of y'all probably sitting there going, I've never heard this before. Well, I'm going to tell you. And I want you to think about this. Like, think about everything I talked about tonight, but I really want you to think about this here. So, the fall of Minneapolis. And I want you to watch it. All right? And again, I've never told anybody not to watch that. I've told you, if you're going to watch it, I've got some things I can point out to you and show you because I was right there when it happened. Like, if you listen to the fall of Minneapolis, they're going to tell you that the police ran out of the building. That when you watch it, when they get to the point to where you see this police car drive out, and they literally tore the gate off. They took the gate off. They thought they was going to use it as a ram, and they didn't. But I want you to don't look at the first couple of cops who tried to run out to try to keep up with the police car. But look over to the left-hand side. As they're coming out that left-hand side, they're walking. And they walked down the street. I just want to make sure that part, you'll see what I'm talking about when you get to that part. But here's the thing that I want to show you. If you're going to leave a police station, lock it up. Yeah, I know they got windows. You say, well, Rev, they got windows. They could have. Yeah, but why make it easy for people just to walk in? No, think about it. Lock it up. But So the cops come out. This is what happened. So the cops come out, and literally everybody's standing around going, the hell's going on? I mean, literally everybody's like, nobody knew what was going on. All of a sudden, all these police just come out. So the people in front, and another thing, when you look at the fall of Minneapolis, I want you to look at where the cops came out. You see nobody there, right? There's nobody. Look for yourself. I want you to look at this for yourself. There's nobody in front where the cops was coming out. Because when they start coming out, everybody ran. I was up here a little bit. I'm standing there watching the police come out. And everybody's like, the heck's going on? And the police mosey on down the road. They shot a couple fireworks at them and stuff like that, but nobody was beating the police. Nobody was chasing the police. It was none of that. That never happened. So the police, they mosey on down the road, catch their bus, and take off. There's a building standing there. And everybody's like, hold on, this got to be a trick. I mean, they're coming back. You don't leave a building wide open. And everybody, it's like they're coming back. After a while, no police, no nothing show up. So that's when I went over in the Target. I went over in the Target parking lot. Like Target parking lot is like right there. The police building is right here. Only thing except to separate the Target parking lot and the police is Lake Street. Lake Street comes down like this. So I went over. I'm standing over there, and everybody's just standing around looking at each other, just murmuring, going. Because if they came back, I wanted to be ready to run towards Cub Foods, because I had parked down the road. So Cub Food. So you had the Target, and then you had Cub Foods was right here. So I moved over in the Target parking lot, going, if they come back and they got tear gas and the bear and some everything else, I want to be able to run towards Cub Foods, because they would have to come down Lake this way, and I can run this way. So that's why I moved over there, and I got out from over on the other side of the police station. They never came back. And all of a sudden, when they drove off and took the front of the gate, wide open, and people start going in. Next thing you know, it's people in the building. Next thing you know, there were people on top of the building. And that's what got the crowd going nuts. When they got on top of the building, that's when everything set off. That's when everything went downhill. Right then and there. If they had never left that place, it wouldn't have happened the way it did. So why they gave that place up, we will never know, because nobody has ever answered. See, that's another thing, Liz Collins. Why can't Liz go search for that answer? I would like to know, and all of Minnesota would like to know from Tim Walz. Why? Mayor Fry, why? Whoever the city council member for that, whomever the representative of that area. Why? Why did they give that? We would never know, because nobody's asking those questions. Why? Have never been answered. But this is what I know for a fact. Had they never left, that police station would have never turned into what it was. They could have rotated cops in and out of there all day. They would have driven down the road. People would have moved out of the way so the police can go. Because they did it when the police came out. Everybody moved out of the way. No different than Dante Wright when we was over in Brooklyn Center. Police was coming and going out of there all day. But there was a mob of people down there at the Brooklyn Center Police Department where they had to put the gate up. The bear, they brought the bear in and everything. The bear was down there. The bear spent many a nights down there, ready to go. But them giving that police station up doesn't make sense. Because again, it's never been answered. Why did you give the police station up? Why? That has never been answered. And it's rarely even asked. And it's still sitting up today. It's like a shrine. That's what it is. People go down there and take pictures of it because it's a shrine. First day in office, that place is getting knocked down. I don't, dude, give me a bulldozer. I need some construction workers, but that building is coming down. I don't care what you put there. Put a Popeyes there. That's fine. Well, Popeyes is behind them. Put a Chipotle there. But right now, the building is still there like it's a shrine. People go down and take pictures in front of it and everything else. But Derek happened, and George Floyd happened way before they made contact with each other. And that's what people don't understand. So when people are running around here talking about, should Derek get out of jail and all this here? Now, I've said point blank, no ifs, ands, or buts. What's his name? The Lang cat? Even the now, that, hold on. Okay, let me do this here, and then I swear I'm gone. Because I think it's how funny it is now that Alpha News, Andrew Lang, they're trying to make sure y'all realize he's a black man. I should have played that part. I should have played that part for you. Liz Collins and Alpha News want to make sure y'all realize that Andrew Lang was a black man. Yeah. Problem is that way the world saw it, it was a white man that was on his back. So it doesn't matter if Total was a person of color. Doesn't matter if Andrew Lang's dad is black and his mom is white. The videotape shows a white man on a black man's back. Some people try to say, well, it was a hanging. No, it wasn't. I don't think Derek Chauvin got up that day and said the first black person I see, which is going to be George Floyd, I'm going to kill him. I don't see it as that. It wasn't racially motivated. No, it was not. It just so happens to be a white cop had a black man down. Wasn't racially motivated. It doesn't matter how people try to spin this or how they try to talk about it. It wasn't. Matter of fact, my understanding through the courts, they knew each other. They worked at the same joint. So they kind of knew each other. Dude tried to say, well, it's personal. It wasn't personal. Derek Chauvin sat on this man's back, and I'm gonna say that. Derek Chauvin sat on this man's back, but you know what the problem was, people? Compassion. Derek sat on this man's back, and he had zero compassion, and y'all know that. And we can play this game if you want, because Derek Chauvin was so used to the system getting him off that he was like, I can do whatever I want. Let's just say, which Liz should have asked AK, but again, she had her agenda and she had to stick with it. But Liz Collins could have easily asked AK, what do you think would have happened if Derek had rolled him over? Even for a few minutes. And to see, okay, he's not kicking anymore. Maybe he's faking. But it's four of us. We can subdue this guy But let's roll him over just to see. Let's roll him over to check to see if he's breathing or not. Let's roll him over to give him relief of us, me on his back, and you guys literally pressing down and holding him to the point to where he can't move. Let's just say those cops had rolled that man over. Would we be here today? No, that's the question I have for you. If they had rolled him over, would we be here today? Yeah. Y'all know the answer. Y'all know, stop it. You know the answer, just like I know the answer. Had they rolled that man over, we wouldn't be here today. If they would have rolled him over at the 5-minute mark, you think we would have been here today? At the 5-minute mark, if they would have rolled him over, because it was on him for like 9 minutes, correct? Let's say at the 5-minute mark, if they would have been, hey, we are protect and serve. We're here to serve the community. We're here to protect the community. If they would have rolled him over at the 5-minute mark, we would have been here. How about the 6-minute mark? They would have rolled him over. If they would have been concerned, if Derek would have got off of him and say, I'm going to show compassion to this man. Guys, get off of him. If they would have listened to, what's the dude? Thomas. They would have listened to Thomas when he said, let's roll him over. They would have listen. If they would have, do you think we'd be here? I don't think we would be here. I don't think people would have saw them as killing this man. Because they had compassion for him. Because even if they say, hey, you know what, I'm going to start CPR. Think about it. No, I'm just saying, just something to think about. I mean, we think about everything else. We think about the fentanyl that he ingested. We think about, y'all said his heart failure and everything else. You think about all that stuff, but think about if they would have rolled him over. You think we would have been here? At the 7-minute mark. They would have rolled him over at the 7-minute mark. We will be here. Yeah, something to think about. But we don't think about this stuff. What we do is we argue with each other, back and forth. Derek Chauvin is not getting out of prison, people. The four cats, the other 3 cats that was with him, all of them has almost done their time. They've almost done their 5 years. Derek's going to be in there for a long time. But you know what I'm willing to do? I'm willing to let Derek out. I am. I know that just shocked everybody, right? That just shocked everybody. Well, Rev, why are you willing, you think that you would let Derek out? I would let Derek out on this point. That everybody has said that Derek got railroaded, that it was an unfair trial, correct? Y'all know who I'm about to go with this because I got black people, I got black men that y'all see me on this here show with. Kathy Keenum put a black man, Kathy Keenum, the Dakota County person down there, put a black man in jail. He's been in there for 20-something years. Put him in there when he was a teenager. And he's still there today in Rush City right now. If we're going to say that Derek Chauvin didn't get a fair trial because they withheld evidence, I got a guy named, also, his name is Philip Vance. He is in Rush City Prison as we speak. That one of the people who lied on him was a bartender. And the bartender just happens to be the sister of the police officer who arrested him. Think about it. Think about what I just said. They said they had a cassette tape of him saying some things. And somehow the police, between the police and the prosecutor, they lost that tape. So what did they have to use to put him in prison for 20 plus years? So-called jailhouse snitches. And guess what? Those jailhouse snitches either got money or they got time off their sentence. Yeah. Y'all see where I'm going with this. Oh, yeah, I'm willing to give Derek Chauvin a brand new trial. Just like I'm willing to pull every case from that Amy Klobuchar ever had. Every case that Kathy Keenum had. Every bad case that's out there that's got men behind bars right now because of this corrupt system that we live under. I'm willing to give Derek another shot at a trial. And I'm also willing to get a lot of other, there'll be a lot of men, trust me when I say that, being paraded through the courts of Hennepin County, that we're looking at their case, how this justice system has stole their lives also. I think that's a fair trade. I believe that's a fair trade. Because if Derek got a bum rap, it's a lot of black men that's got a bum rap that's been sitting, especially when they went to prison when they were 16 years old. And they was just looking for people to throw in the jail. And they had these so-called jailhouse confessions, and they got these here, so-called, oh yeah, that's the lineup that they usually do. Got another guy, went through a lineup, but he's the only one that had handcuffs on. Who would I pick? So sure, I'm willing to give Derek another trial, and we introduce all the evidence that's in that y'all said that wasn't there, because that's what A.K. Kamara said. That's what Liz Collins said. That's what Alpha News reported, that all the evidence wasn't there, correct? All right, let's bring in all the evidence. Everything that they believe that wasn't in the trial, let's give him that opportunity to have a trial like that and see what happens. But this is what I know. I know a jury of his peers said he was guilty. That's what I know. I have never said that Derek killed that man. I never said he was on his chest. I never said he was on his back. I never on his shoulder, on his neck, or whatever. Yeah, I ain't never said that. What I've always said is a jury of his peers said he's guilty. How they came to that, we don't know. But the very system that Derek Chauvin went down in is a very system that many of black men went down in. I don't see Liz Collins out doing that. I don't hear A.K. Kamara out in any of these prisons talking to some of these here black men who are been locked up for I don't know how long. I don't see Alpha News reporting on the corruption in the police department on them. That's not because it's not about justice. What they're doing isn't about justice. That's a lie. Because if what they're doing was really about justice, then they would be fighting for justice for many people here in Minnesota. Many of men who are locked up and shouldn't be. If it was really about justice. But that's not what this is about. This has nothing to do with justice, what Liz Collins is doing. She knows that. I know that. And now you all know that. But again, Liz, anytime you need to talk to a black man, I'm right here. Anytime you want to know what's going on in the black community, I'm right here. Same thing with you, Alpha News. Y'all know me. You know exactly who I am. You know exactly who I am. But the problem is, you know you're going to get it real, and you know I'm raw. I don't beat around the bush because I don't have time to play like that. If I didn't go in the black community and try to help, if I wasn't preacher in the black community, if I was like AK, I could sit on your show and say all types of bull crap. I could do that. But I see things. I hear things. I talk to people. That's why I don't have time to play with you like that. Period, point blank. So y'all can keep this Derek Chauvin thing up if you want to. That's fine. But the only thing I'm saying is tell the truth. Tell the whole truth. Tell the whole truth. Because you tell your people what they want to hear and what they want to believe. And that's just not the whole truth in it. It's just not. It's not. And Bob Kroll can tell you the same thing. Bob Kroll, who is your husband, Liz, know that I'm right in what I'm saying. He knows he was the president of the police union. So Bob knows the climate. Bob knows that. That's something he and I talked about when I talked to him. So if you want to talk to me, Liz, I'm right here. We can have this conversation. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you, Liz Collins. I don't think you want that conversation. There you go. Hey, y'all have a good night. We will talk to you more than likely on Sunday. No, shoot. You know what? I can't do Sunday. Because I got to go back to the play. It's 2 plays. So I may not be here Monday, but if we are, y'all know we have Dexter Taylor right here. We have Dexter. I stand with Dexter Taylor. We have Dexter Taylor on Sundays. If you don't know who Dexter Taylor is a black man that is sitting in prison right now in upstate New York. Dexter Taylor put together a firearm. The state of New York decided to make this black man an example, and the Democrats in the state of New York put this man in prison for 10 years for making a firearm. I'm not kidding with you. If you don't know who he is, you can go to at Future Radiocast, at Future Radiocast, at Future Radiocast, and read about who Dexter Taylor is. But we usually have Dexter Taylor on Sunday nights, usually starting about 7 o'clock. He calls in from the prison in the state of New York, and we just talk about what's going on in life, period. Doesn't matter what it is. We give Dexter an opportunity just to talk so we can keep him sane. Because trust me, once you get back, even when I would go to the prison, and if you have never been to a prison, you should go. No, I'm seriously. No, you're sitting there going, I'm not talking about like that. Go visit. Hold on. Go visit and watch your psyche. No, I'm being dead serious. Even though you know you're going to come back out, your psyche while in there plays tricks on you. It's like your whole body is like. I've been in enough now. I don't get that. I don't get that way that much anymore. When I go and I talk to some prisoners, I don't get that way much. But when I first started going in, even though I knew I was coming out, my whole body it just tensed up like so bad. So we called Dexter Taylor so he can give him an opportunity just to talk to us, just to keep his head right, to keep his mind, you know what I mean? Keep his spirits up. Because like I said, it's ugly and it's dark in those holes down there. But anyway, hey, I got to get off this thing, fam. I got to go. Like I said, we got a 10 o'clock game tomorrow. We got to be all the way out in Delano. I think we got a 10, a 2 o'clock, and I think they play at 5. Yeah, 10, 2, and 5. But I'm only going to be there for 2 games because I got a play to run to right after that. We've been busy this week, and that's a good thing. It's always good to keep yourself busy. Had my grandson, he plays the trumpet too. So we had a band camp on yesterday. Not band camp, a band concert on yesterday. And another thing, so Brad and I are gearing up to get some things going here. We're going to be having some places that you guys can meet us also. And we also want you guys to understand that this is a grassroots campaign. They're not giving us a shot at all. You don't hear the news talking about Kendall Qualls announced the other day, and everybody was all over that, and a couple other people announced, and people was all over that. But let them sleep on us, because I believe when people hear where we're going with this and what we want to do for Minnesota, and like I said, I truly, and I do believe Brad believed the same thing, but I truly want to turn this state back over to the people of Minnesota. We have gotten out of our way, and we've lost our way. And the people have no say-so here anymore. They don't. I mean, think about the money that the Democrats took. You didn't have no say-so in that. Let's say if Tim Walz would have said, because one of the things I always talk about is tabs. It's crazy that I have to pay $300 for my wife's $300 some odd dollars for tabs, for a little tab on that drives me crazy. For a little tab on my wife's car, I got to pay $300 for that. Mine is like $185. Wouldn't have been nice. I'd have loved it if he'd have sent me $500. It'd been like, well, we're gonna send you, and people have been like, well, what's $500? Well, they pay for my tabs. Think about it. See, people think too big, so I think small. And they'd pay for my tabs. They would have paid for the tabs on my cars. Didn't have to boop, done. Don't have to worry about that this year. If they would have sent us some of that surplus money, we would have sent up, man, $500. I know people, what's $500? Trust me, when you ain't got $500, $500 means a lot to you. Now, some of those people who walk around with $500 in your pocket, you don't think $500 is anything. But I'm just saying, for those of us who don't have $500 in our pocket, send me $500 and see how much I love you. I can tell you, pay for my tabs, man. I ain't rich. I ain't trying to be rich. I don't act like I'm rich. I work a normal 9 to 5 like everybody else, and that 9 to 5 ain't making me rich. I didn't come here to be rich. Nope. God never said I was going to be rich. Never said that. Never said you and Bill Gates are going to be fighting and you and Bill Gates are going to be having champagne together. I ain't never said that. Don't worry about it. I got Elon Musk to be your best friend. As a matter of fact, you can buy the Green Bay Packers if you want to. He ain't never said that. I ain't never read that. But what he said is I'm going to be comfortable. And $500 would make me comfortable because then I can pay the tabs on my wife's car. And I'm sure there's people out there who has to pay for, $200-300 for their tabs. Would have loved for Tim Walz to send you $500 from all that surplus money that they took and blew. Instead of building that building down, that palace that they're building, send me some of that palace money. This is what I'm talking about, man. We have to take care of people in Minnesota. We got to make it to where you feel comfortable about being here once again. Because people don't feel comfortable about being in Minnesota anymore. When I first got here in 1990, I felt very comfortable about being in Minnesota. And then people moved here from Chicago and started shooting the place up. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. See, people don't like the truth. They're going to get mad at me, and I'm going to hear it in my DMs for me saying that. But they didn't call this place Murderapolis for nothing. Look it up. No, look it up yourself, people. You don't believe me? Do your research. You're going to get mad at me? Do your research. Then you can get mad at me. Anyway, hey, I got to go. Y'all have a good night. I so appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me for a little bit tonight, so I can run off at the mouth. And I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. If you want to come hang out, let me know, man. I mean, I like having conversations with people. And if you want to be on here, send me your email. I'll put you right next to me, and we'll have a conversation. And if you feel like you want to talk, I'll give you the whole hour. Because I put that out there. Especially if you're a woman. No, y'all know what I'm, don't be, see, again, you're about to get mad at me, but hold on for a second. It's like I said today. A man will tell you half the story because he wants to get to the end, right? No, this is how men think. I'm going to give you points, and we're getting to the end of this thing. A woman, she had to tell you everything. Not everything. Everything. She it's like my wife. My wife comes home, and I already know, right? I got to give her wifey time because she's got to compress. So she'll come home, tell me her whole day. There was a bird on the windowsill. He was red, and then he came and he was walking on the windowsill, and then he tried to get up, and he bumped his head, and he fell down. But then he flew away, and then right after that, the rain came, and you can hear it, and she can smell all. Where a man would say, this stupid bird bumped his head, and he flew away. Right? Y'all know that as well as I do. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what would happen. Oh, yeah, it was raining, and I just closed the window. Done. Anyway, hey, let's end the night like we always end the night, realizing and understand that we serve a mighty God, an unbelievable God, a God that no matter what you do, how you do it, God will make sure that you will never, ever, ever be alone. No matter who you done it to, God will make sure that he turns things around in your life. We serve an awesome God, and thank God for that God, and thank God for his blessings that he put into each and every one of our life. So when those trials and tribulations come, he'll tell you right there, I'll be right there with you. He will be right there with you. And I thank God for him, because Lord knows me. If y'all have known me almost 20 years ago, if y'all have known me 15 years ago, I'm not the same person that's sitting here, but because of the God that I serve now, I can honestly sit here and say, I'm a new me. He picked me up and cleaned me up. Say, you know what? That alcohol, you don't need that no more. That weed, you can let that go too. Being a womanizer, now that's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to turn you into something that I need and I can use you. He always go get the worst of the worst. He goes, gets the worst of the worst and turns them around. And because of that, that's why I always have a smile on my face most of the time when you see me. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We take those smiles and we go and smile at somebody, so somebody smile back at you. Hey, fam, y'all have a good night. We will see you guys hopefully on Sunday. So come jump back in on Sunday. Let's talk to Dexter Taylor, and I'll appreciate y'all. And I think I touched everything tonight, and we're good. I know I kept you 39 minutes over. Totally my fault. I'll give it back to you. Peace, fam. I'm out.